UC Davis is recruiting people for a new clinical trial. The goal, restoring speech to people who have lost or are losing the ability to speak. Mike Cherry looks into the clinical trial and has more on who researchers are looking for.
UC Davis is teaming up with BrainGate. It's a group of researchers from universities and medical groups. They're studying how brain-computer interfaces can be used to restore neurological function in people living with paralysis. Now, researchers hope by implanting electrodes in the brain, it can read the brain signals meant to move the muscles involved in speaking and translate the person's intention to speak into comprehensive speech produced by a computer. We spoke with UC Davis researcher Sergey Stavesky about this technology and what they hope to find out about the brain.
What does it look like kind of in the brain as you're trying to say those words? And once we understand that and know more about how are words and sounds encoded in brain cells, how can we decode or kind of figure out what the person's trying to say? And then how can we actually make that happen, what we call in real time? So as they're trying to speak, how can we make the computer basically speak in their voice or write out the words that they're trying to say?
So who may be eligible for the study? Well, you have to be older than 18 and live within 3 hours of the greater Sacramento region. You also have to have paralysis in the arms and legs or have difficulty speaking. Lastly, have a medical diagnosis such as a spinal cord injury, brainstem stroke, ALS, or other degenerative motor neuron disorders. Participants accepted into the study will have tiny specialized devices implanted in the region of their brain that generates speech. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has provided permission for testing the devices in clinical trials.
This is still research. We are not providing a treatment. This is not a medical device that the physician can just prescribe to you. You can go out and get it. The kinds of people who I think want to participate in this research are looking to do something that can help others in the future and can advance humanity's knowledge and medical understanding.
Implants have been used in the brain before to help with disease symptoms, so what's different about this one? UC Davis says the BrainGate 2 clinical trial is meant to listen to the nerve cells, not stimulate them into action.
The fact that we went from can people move a cursor on a screen within the past decade to people are moving robotic arms and other groups as well, and us even thinking that we have the opportunity to potentially have someone just try to talk and have either words or sounds come out that are intelligible and accurate. I think that's going a really fast and long way relative to where we started. I think what would make me most happy is when we first see this system hopefully working and actually someone speaking through this device, even if it's not working perfectly at first, having a person involved in the trial and actually using this technology so we can assess whether it works and how it works. That's going to be incredibly fulfilling.
Now, if you or someone you know is interested in this study, more information can be found on BrainGate's website. Back to you.